Hello, I'm Claire Morrison, Election Information Services Director for the League of Women Voters of the Comal Area. And this is a recorded forum with candidates for Cibolo Mayor on the November 4th, 2025 ballot. The candidates for Cibolo Mayor are Terry Hines and Kara Latimer. Both candidates are participating today. Thank you to Mr. Hines and Ms. Latimer for providing voters with this opportunity to learn more about them as candidates. Before we start, a few comments about the League and the forum structure. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, nonprofit 501c3 that does not support or oppose any candidate or political party. Our mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. We envision a democracy in which every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate. In this forum, our goal is to give each candidate the opportunity to state what they think and what they plan to do if elected. To begin, each candidate in alphabetical order will have an opportunity to make a 1-minute opening statement. The moderator will then direct questions to the candidates in rotating order. Candidates should respond to the questions by discussing the issues and not their opponent. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. At the end, each candidate will have 1 minute to make closing remarks. This forum is being recorded and will be posted to the Comal Area League's YouTube channel. So to begin, Mr. Hines, we'll start with your 1-minute opening statement.
Good afternoon. I'm Terry Hines, and have been an actual resident of Cibolo since 1990. My wife has been here all of her life, and we're still living in the same old house that she was born and raised in. So I've had the opportunity to raise our boys here, and both of our boys, this is where they call home. And Cibolo has just been, our hometown. They've really do care about how we prosper and how we move forward from this. We've watched our Cibolo grow from an agricultural economy to now we are much more, I would call it an urbanized economy. And having served on our school board for 9 years previous to this, I just want to go ahead and continue my service to our community.
Thank you. Ms. Latimer, your 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kara Latimer, and I am candidate for the Cibolo Mayor. And I want you to know that Cibolo is my priority. You, the resident of Cibolo, is my priority. I'm here to represent you. And as your mayor, my job is to listen and connect and make sure your voice is heard when decisions are made. I've raised my family here, I've built my business here, and I've served on boards that shape how our city grows. So I understand where we've been and where we need to go. So together, we can focus on what really matters here in Cibolo: safer roads, stronger infrastructure, smarter growth, and a city government that's accountable to you, the people it serves. So thank you for your time.
Okay, our first question will be for Ms. Latimer first. Ms. Latimer, the 2026 budget increases the property tax rate about 4.4% above the no new revenue rate to maintain city services. How would you balance the need to fund services with the desire to keep the tax burden low for residents?
Well, first of all, every dollar in the city budget belongs to the people, and it's not just a line on a spreadsheet. So I understand that they are services, right? They're dollars coming from our citizens, and they are for services that our citizens may be receiving. So it's important that our budget has a tremendous amount of transparency. In this particular last budget cycle, we saw a no budget, which meant that they allowed the city manager to develop the new budget with the increase already built in, instead of building a budget based on no tax increase and then coming and giving us line item ideas or line item reasons for the increase in the tax burden to the citizens. So the first thing I would do would be to advocate for all budgets to be done at the no new tax revenue rate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Hines, the 2026 budget increases the property tax rate about 0.4% above the no new revenue rate to maintain city services. How would you balance the need to fund services with the desire to keep the tax burden low for residents?
Well, I've attended all the meetings, watched the budget meetings, visited with the city manager, trying to get an understanding of if first off, the property valuations have dropped with all of our governing entities. Brings on the necessity, if you want to call it that, for increasing the rate. But I've asked the question, so what would we have to do without? What would we do without if we did not raise the tax rate? And the answer for our city is as not cutting personnel. Our personnel, we have a very, very thin staff. And so there would just have to be some services that would not be offered. The roads improvements and those sorts of things are going to go on. They're going to move forward. It's just, how do you fund? I'm asking you the question. That's the wrong thing to do. But how would you fund the projects that we need to have for our citizens to keep our roadways safe, our utilities operational, and our employees here happy with us in the city? Long-term employees bring knowledge and skills, and that's what we want to be able to keep with our employees. So how do you keep your people? You can keep your people happy, and you just find ways that, well, we will be able to get to this project hopefully next year.
Okay, so Mr. Hines, our next question will go to you first. Public safety represents more than half of the city budget. How would you measure whether additional investments in police and fire are producing improved community outcomes?
Well, visiting with our police chief, he's been really innovative in how to monitor where our needs for services are. And we do need to be able to increase our services for traffic enforcement. We only have one true traffic officer. Patrol is always important, but how do we keep our officers on patrol? We want to have long-serving officers within our department, be able to handle those positions and still backfill when you need a vacation. When you have someone on vacation, how do we do that? What our department has been doing is investing in through what am I trying to say here? The flock camera system. So this is through a grant system. And so that's alleviating some of the time that would be necessary spent on doing some investigative work. We do have a very experienced drone operations system within our police department. Our fire department is experienced the same types of manning issues that we just need to be able to keep our staff on hand. Did you know it takes 12 firefighters per fire station? We call it fully manned, and I'm down to 25 seconds. So how do we do that? We still prioritize that. We do everything we can to make sure that we're keeping our people. When you keep your staff on hand, you're much better off than having to constantly train. So down to 10 seconds. So thank you so much.
Okay. Ms. Latimer, public safety represents more than half of the city budget. How would you measure whether additional investments in police and fire are producing improved community outcomes?
Thank you. Public safety is the most important investment the city makes. And just like every department, it has to be held accountable through measured outcomes. And we have those in place. Our chief of police and our fire chief work diligently to ensure our staffing needs are being met, our patrol needs are being met. They have, like all cities in growth, we are struggling with getting ahead of funding that. And we have initiatives within our city that are providing better accountability for car break-ins by having the cameras. We are developing a new firehouse, and so we are expanding. But those measured outcomes are lower crime rates, stronger relationships with residents, faster response times. And those are the things that we need to be able to have conversations about, frank and honest conversations about. What does our police or fire department need in order to improve those measured outcomes, specifically because that's for the citizens in their time of need. And so I think that conversation and making it as transparent and realistic as possible is the goal. Because again, public safety is the single most important investment our city makes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Our next question will go first to Ms. Latimer. Continued drought has highlighted water as a critical issue. How would you strengthen Cibolo's approach to water conservation?
So right now, that's a great question. Because water conservation is, it's challenging because we have a requirement of turf grasses in our HOAs. Such a percentage of the yard needs to be in turf grass, and so xeriscaping isn't promoted here. So that would be something that I would take a first look at, see what the planning committee, HOAs, and other facilities or other folks would think about what that would look like for them in being able to conserve water. Water reclamation is happening through our partnership with CCMA. They're reclaiming some of that water and reusing it in other areas. And so I think that's a very nuanced question that I think that there has to be a multi-pronged solution to. So number one, we have to make the people aware of conservation and how they can do that, right? Two, we have to partner with people like CCMA that are doing water reclamation and reusing that in areas like our parks or our ball fields where we can use that water instead. And two, looking at the number of living equivalent units that are getting tied into our systems. And that means development. What kind and type of development are coming onto our water systems? So I think it's a great question with a lot of need for further and deeper discussion. So thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Mr. Hines, continued drought has highlighted water as a critical issue. How would you strengthen Cibolo's approach to water conservation?
The city of Cibolo and our Green Valley Water Supply Company have been working really well together. Have just approved the sewer CCN agreement between Green Valley and City of Cibolo. I've been asking the question about, I call it purple pipe, so like Mrs. Latimer spoke to, reclaim the water. We should be using the fresh water coming in and for purposes other than drinking water. We could say toilet use and for irrigation purposes. Are we producing enough reclaimed water to offset those needs? There is a cost associated with all of that, but the worst cost is running out of fresh water. And so begun the conversation about what would it look like to include a purple pipe reclaimed water system, whether it's even into our already existing areas in Cibolo, but it would be much easier to include this in any new development that happens. And our largest area for the next development area is between 78 and I-10, which is actually closer to the CCMA treatment plants. What would it look like and what would it entail to include a purple pipe system in our utility systems? Thank you.
All right. Mr. Hines, our next question will be for you as well. The 2026 budget includes funding for a parks master plan and a small increase in parks operations. What do you feel are priorities for these spaces?
The parks system, I'm a firm believer that a good parks system invites people out of their homes. And when you leave your homes and you're out in the park system, visiting with your neighbors, now you're creating a true community. You're creating friends. I think our park system is something that we have a real opportunity here in Cibolo. We've been working toward it for a number of years now with a linear park system from I-10 heading all the way out to from 35, pardon me, all the way down to I-10. And that just needs to be part of our community. As we're developing those trails that need to be allowable for walking, jogging, bicycles, those sorts of things. I think it's much safer to have our healthy friends that are out there doing the walking and jogging, riding their bikes on the trail system than it is to have them on the roadways. But I just think that what we have and what we have the opportunity to offer, that our old downtown area is and should be an integral part of our park system. We can make the vast majority of Cibolo walkable. We can invite people into our downtown area from the park system. It's just, I think it's an integral part of what we have and what we need to build our true sense of community here.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Latimer, the 2026 budget includes funding for a parks master plan and small increases in parks operations. What do you feel are priorities for these spaces?
The Parks Master Plan, I think it's probably an update to our linear park plan system. And the tie-in to that linear park plan system is getting agreement or tie-in from the development that occurred. That's where the beginning of our park system occurred, was donating land that was contiguous within that park system. So I think that connection through multiple communities would allow children to be able to move, junior high school, or I'm not talking toddlers, but appropriate age children to move through our park system from one neighborhood to the next, and riding their bikes not on the streets, which is a critical component. So paving pathways, creating area where they can transition from one side of the subdivision to the next would be a critical component to what the park systems offer. Basically, walkability, transportation for folks that is not on the street itself. Our Parks Department is trying to ramp up and get more activities and health and wellness into our community. And I think that is also a place that an activity that can occur in our parks. So health and wellness and connectivity are the primary focuses of our parks, and getting public infrastructure agreements and agreements from the developers.
Okay, thank you. The next question will also be for you, Ms. Latimer. How do you think the city could improve opportunities and services for veterans?
Sorry. I think that veteran services are, we are just so honored. We are just such a blessed city to have so many great veterans here in our community. Our veterans deserve more than thanks from us. They deserve action, right? They deserve us standing up for them. And so I would work with the Guadalupe County Veterans offices and the local VFWs on community partnerships to connect those veterans to the resources like their housing, their training opportunities. And as a mayor, I would listen and collaborate with those organizations that are reaching out to those very important community members. And I will work to support veterans so that they feel valued, included, and supported, because that strengthens Cibolo, because we have so many. part of our chamber, we have the MAC committee, which is the Military Affairs Committee. We have the businesses have interaction with the Joint Base and Randolph Air Force Base at our community meetings. So continuing on in that work that's being done within the community to support those veterans. But thank you for asking.
Okay. Mr. Hines, how do you think the city could improve opportunities and services for veterans?
Well, a couple of options here, but I think it's not just incumbent upon the city to do this. It's like, so you don't have to know all the answers. You just need to know the people that have the answers. And so it's a matter of creating the connections between folks within the city and our independent service operators that are offering these services. Our Grange Hall here in Cibolo has really come back to life. Our folks that work within the Grange have really been supportive of this, and Mrs. Latimer has been working with this as well. You make the quilt tops, and had an opportunity to make one of those quilts of valor presentations, and how beautiful those quilts are. But we can have spaces where our veterans, and I personally know several of our disabled veterans that just life is just more difficult now than it was a few years ago for them, but they're making it through. So how do we have some places for them to go? It's a park system. It's a meeting place. It's independent service providers that just need a place to visit with people. How do you offer these services? I don't have the connections, but I will know people that do bring these services to our community. It's just getting them out of the house, getting them back out here visiting with us, and we all take our opportunities to love on them. It's just as simple as that. So I'm down to 10 seconds, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so this will be our last question before closing remarks, and we'll start with Mr. Hines. Mr. Hines, if elected, how would you as mayor help preserve a sense of community in Cibolo?
So a sense of community, just I could prattle on for hours and hours and hours about where Cibolo was and where Cibolo is now. It just really warms our heart to see our old town being reinvented. The same buildings, the same heart of community being reinvented, and how we extrapolate that out just to our newer friends that are moving in still. But we do have a great. I'm going to go back to the park system. How do we use the park systems? How do we invite people out of their homes to come meet each other? We'll have those opportunities to do that. I'll be a huge supporter of that. Our school systems are wonderful. Having served on the school board, I will attest to our public school system and a strong advocate for that. And so anyway, how will I make us a greater, the question is, how will I continue our sense of community, correct? Okay, so it's, I know how to do it. And when you ask code like this, it's really hard to just put it into words, but it really is inviting people out, and making sure that we are aware of the different events that are going on. We have a car show, we have a dog show, we have pet services, those sorts of things that will just invite people to come out and just get to know each other. We will be active with that as we grow, and as our revenue streams continue to grow, then we can truly redevelop, reinvent our parks system and the opportunities that our parks leadership will have to help bring us all out of the house.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Latimer, if elected, how would you as mayor help preserve a sense of community in Cibolo?
A sense of community in Cibolo. Wow. Cibolo's sense of community comes from its people knowing each other, from our local businesses thriving, from our family members and our families here feeling heard and a part of the solutions and the changes that are taking place. I've spent a number of years serving on boards, listening to those voices, volunteering through the CHAMP committee, and connecting with groups like HOAs, churches, and even our schools, because that's where the community is happening. That's where our sense of community is preserved in those areas. And as mayor, I keep those connections strong by showing up to the places. And the HOAs, the boards and commissions continue showing up at the chamber. And I will support the programs that bring people together, like our local festivals, our citizens academies, our service projects, and use partnerships with the chamber and other nonprofits and civic groups to strengthen cross city and cross community relationships that strengthen us even greater. Cibolo is strong, but Cibolo is stronger when we are united with our fellow communities like Schertz and Selma. So by aligning our growth with our values, our families first, our families forward, our service and our hometown pride will keep Cibolo a place where people don't just want to live, they want to belong. And so I would be very active. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next are your closing remarks, Ms. Latimer. You will go first, and you will each have 1 minute. So, Ms. Latimer, your closing remarks.
Thank you. This election is about trust and putting Cibolo first. And I have been doing the work and will continue to do the work, and I know the process. If elected to be your mayor, I will lead with you out front with your values, your voice, and your opinion, and with always transparency and respect, because I am running for you. I want to make sure that every voice in this community is valued and every decision is puts the residents first. And I'd be honored to serve as your next mayor. So I respectfully ask for your vote for mayor this November. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hines, your closing remarks.
Well, Claire, I sure appreciate you being patient with us and being patient with me and just giving us this opportunity to visit. So I'm just really amazed at the fact that I get the opportunity to serve as mayor. Just bring respect and integrity to the office. And true advocate for Cibolo. But I want to make a shameless plug here. From now until August 15, the Bissell Pet Foundation is subsidizing pet adoptions. And our Cibolo Animal Shelter has several puppies. We have a few puppies. We have some kittens that'll be ready in just a few days, maybe a couple of weeks. And we have some little warm, fuzzy, active dogs out there that really need a beautiful home. So for $25, our citizens can adopt a new family member out there. Please go visit our, I have to stop. Please go visit our animal shelter. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates, for your participation. A reminder to voters, the deadline to register or update your registration is Monday, October 6th. Early voting begins October 20th. The League's online nonpartisan election information and resources links, including local ballot items, are available via our website, LWV-Comal.org, and at vote411.org, beginning October 6th. If you enter your home address on vote411.org, you can see the issues and candidates that will be on your ballot, compare candidate responses to League questions, and much more. This ends our reporting.